What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Durell with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Jerrell Big Baby Miller. Jerrell Big Baby Miller was on Swaysuniverse, and it was exciting and entertaining to me. It was very informative too. You know, I learned a lot about Miller that I didn't know. Sure, he's from a third world country. I knew that, but I didn't know a lot of things. You know, and he went in depth on who he was as a person, you know, the upbringing growing up in New York, the history behind the jokes. He's a jokester at the end of the day. You know what I mean? He gives homage to a lot of people ahead of him because a lot of people look after him in his community, and he gives them mad respect. You know, he also gives he states that he just didn't like Anthony Joshua's persona. It's just something about him. He didn't like him, you know, something artificial. He calls him a fake, a phony, you know, as compared to Tyson Fury and Dillian White. Those particular guys were like, okay, well, hey, Dillian White seems like a genuine dude as well as Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? Even though, anyway, let me hold that. I'll get to that later about Tyson Fury and himself. But he also went on to say that the politics, you know, the drug testing, the business behind the drug testing was very informative. You know, I have to say, I didn't know a lot of things that occurred within VADA. You know, VADA making deals with fighters. Like, hey, if you sign up for the, clean boxing program, we'll give you a certain ranking in a certain sanctioning body. But the sanctioning body was solely from WBC. So he counterpunched himself about what Joshua was stating, about the testosterone allegations. And he said, well, that's false because the WBC, is runs that. So he can't get tested like that, even though Joshua was referring to another anti-doping testing agency, when he was getting tested. So, but Jerrell Miller disagreed and called that false. He was like, no, that's only from the WBC. The WBC is the only one that orders a certain type of drug testing for the clean boxing program, okay, for VADA. And, but another thing he touched on, he was like, VADA, business, you can have something on the ban list that they haven't even told you that's banned. He was saying this in account of, something that he tested positive for, somebody else got popped for and was banned or was fined. And he was taking this stuff, this like pre-workout stuff. So, it's a lot of elements and it is real sensitive, those tests. And I figured that from a long time ago. That's why I disagree with, people using performance enhancing drugs. I think that's really people shouldn't take that as hard as people take that. Oh, drug cheat and glenbuterol and all that stuff. Look, there are a lot of things that are on the ban list and on the performance enhancing list. All of them are banned, but what are they reciting? How much of a edge will they give you? Sure, I believe that fighters do things for an edge that is within the guidelines, certain remedies, certain techniques, drinking pee and such. Examples of Juan Manuel Marquez, drinking pee to give them extra nutrients and shit like that. There's all types of things that people do, but at the end of the day, how much effect will these particular things give you? So I just wanted to touch on that, because a lot of people, drug cheat, you got popped, another fighter got popped, they're cheaters. Well, you know what I mean? According to Jerrell Miller, these people don't even tell them that if something you could have been taking for the last 2-3 years that you got hipped on, that, feels like it gives you more energy or this, that, and the other, well, it could be on the banned substance list and you have nothing about it. And he was like, well, why don't the VADA work with the fighters, update them on what's banned and what's not? You know what I'm saying? So that clears up and that really explains a lot of times why people get tested and, like look at Billy Joe Saunders, the nasal shit. You know what I mean? Like if he would have knew that, what chances of him taking that to mess up his money? You know what I mean? Like a lot of things you just got to really look at for yourselves And when you find out people get busted, you know what I mean? It ain't like it's freaking HGH or something like massive like that, that knows, that gives you like just, you know, freakishly amount of power for a particular time frame. You know what I mean? That will definitely help you, you know, hurt another opponent. But it was big. And, you know, he mentioned Deontay Wilder. He was like, look, I can't focus on Deontay Wilder. I can't even look at that fight right now. I got to look at Joshua, the guy in front of me. I got to focus on that. And if I knock him out, I'm going to have to knock his ass out too. He didn't say it like that. He said, you know, I have to knock his bitch ass out, you know, again, because he has a rematch clause, the Bomba Clot, he says. It's a lot of things. You know, he broke his freestyle down, you know, and you could say it was a good freestyle. I liked it, you know, but he was working on it. So I'm like, okay. But not to say that Joshua didn't have that already set up. You know what I mean? So, you know, freestyle is freestyle, but to come off, you had to be practicing in that. You know what I mean? But it's all an act to sell yourself. So I get it at the end of the day. It was good. It was some good bars. It was some good shit. You know, Jerrell Miller stated like, yeah, the mama jokes. Yeah, you know, he said, yeah, I want to take your mom out. He was like, look, I'm from New York. I grew up in New York. If you will get mad about mama jokes, you know, oh, I got him then. You know what I mean? If he, and especially where he grew up, if you get pissed off at jokes like that, you're going to be fighting every day. You're going to have problems because you got to grow some tough skin when it comes to, you know, certain jokes and stuff, because that's the New York way, you know. And Miller is one thing. He's entertaining. You know what I mean? He is a formidable opponent and a marketable opponent. You know what I mean? So he's not a guy that has a damn personality like a damn bus seat. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that has some charisma. He has a story. He has things that, you know, going in his favor. You know what I mean? He has personality. It might not be the ideal personality that people want him to have, but nonetheless, he does have personality. He can be marketed. He does talk a gang of shit. He does throw volumes of punches. And in fact, he throws more punches than any other heavyweight, regardless of how much the sting or the stank on him, right? Now, mentioning the sting and the stank, Tyson Fury. He said he likes Tyson Fury. But then, you know, you never seen him question. Again, you did not see him question the shit with Tyson Fury. You see what I'm saying? He didn't question that at all. So I'm like, yeah, that's some truth to that. Tyson Fury ain't going to just sit there and say, I dropped someone 7 times. You know what I mean? If anything, it's exaggerated. Like, oh, okay, well, maybe he, you know, maybe he dropped him 3 or something like that. Jerrell Miller, you know, he never said that it wasn't true. You know, as much shit as Jerrell Miller talks, I gotta counterpunch that again. He did not. Again, this is the second opportunity for him to set this shit straight. Like, no, Tyson Fury's a liar. He did not send my ass packing after beating my ass. That didn't happen. He never said that. And I gotta mention that because, you know, I counterpunch everybody and everything. So, you know, and that's another one. So, but anyway, yeah, that was good. It was cool. It was a, you know, it was a very informative and entertaining interview. And Durell Miller, you could tell he was happy to be there. You know what I mean? And he was also stating, like, you know, the restrictions of the A side, not wanting him to say certain things. He was like, this is my city. I can say what I want. You know what I mean? Now he has the green light to do what he wants to do. You know what I mean? Which is good. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you got to be yourself. You know what I mean? So you don't want to put a muzzle on anyone, you know? So, but anyway, it was a good, I will leave the link below to let you guys check it out. Tell me what you think about the Jerrell Miller Swaysuniverse interview. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.